Hey, this is Leon Poe, man. You listening to Causeway Street Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Kenny Anderson. Y'all listen to the Causeway Street Podcast.
For all you new listeners out there, I'm your host, Josue Pavone. I'm joined as usual by my two co-hosts.
I'm Sean Dutra. What's up? So
Yeah, talk
long
about
walks
yourself.
on the B.
There you go. Joel Pavone. What up?
I'm a Pisces. The most romantic.
He leads off with that.
The most romantic sign in all of the zodiac.
Oh,
If you couldn't tell by my voice already.
oh,
Sexy.
But I'm the producer of this ensemble that we call Causeway Street. In case you missed it.
Hey, Bill Walton here, Celtics 1986. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Yeah, come here for nothing but the truth. This is where dreams come true. Thank you, Boston, for my life.
where are we going?
You guys are such homers.
It's your boy Terry Rozier. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Now listen to my boys Joe, Sway, Joel, and Sean.
Stevie
Francis was doing something
does
else.
crack
He was doing something
cocaine.
else. I got you. He's doing something
Okay,
else.
he does some type of drug that is very addictive and probably deforms your face.
Back with another episode of the Causeway Street Podcast. Josue Pavone here. Joel Pavone. Sean Dutra. Fellas, how we doing today?
Yo!
What's going on?
What's up?
Nothing better than a weekend podcast. I mean, you got the Celtics coming off that 3-game road trip, taking care of business, minus what we saw in Houston. But you know, you'll take that loss, right? Any day of the week. We can talk a little bit about that as well. But overall, what I want to get into right at the top of this episode is how the Celtics offense has just been so efficient throughout this entire stretch since the All-Star break. I mean, they're averaging 117 points a game. I don't think we've seen a Celtics team score this many points throughout this type of, 7-game span. When's the last time we've seen the Celtics score this many points? It's been a while, specifically with this team this season. You know, my question is for you guys is how did this come together so well? And Sean, don't tell me it was Marcus Smart because
I won't tell you
you're going
it's
to talk
Marcus
about the
Smart.
defensive
I
side of
got
things. You can give him credit for that, which, by the way, Celtics have been giving up a lot of points. I know they've been translating into wins those stretches where they give up a lot of points. However, the defense hasn't been the story of this team. It's been the offense. Why?
The third best offense since the All-Star break.
You can't totally disregard the fact that since Marcus Smart's come back, the offense have turned on. But
Oh yeah, because he drops 20 points a night. Right?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I mean, he's not like Terry Rozier, who has been putting in double-digit points ever since he had his first start.
Sure.
Well, he's not a big assist guy, though. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm not discrediting him. You know,
I was going to move right on from it, guys. I wasn't even going to go into it.
The bench,
I
though.
thought you had something. I
just didn't want you to understand that, like.
The bench, though, has been huge.
Yes. That's what I was trying to get at. I'm not trying to say that Marcus Smart has nothing to do with this, but we're hitting shots. It's what it comes down to. Like, you look at, I mean, Al Horford struggled. Now he's been turning it on. Kyrie Irving has been, when he's on,
Minus
he
the
has
Houston
been
game, yeah.
fire. Like, absolute fire. Like, the other day he was shooting, 60% from the field?
Yeah, but you know what's helped that too? Second unit.
Yeah.
I mean, you put Kyrie on ice for as long as you can without sacrificing the game. You bring in a fresh Kyrie, he'll drop 7, 8, 9 points within a 6-7 minute span. I mean, we've seen that throughout the regular season, but when he does it, when the Celtics have a legitimate, significant lead, it's game over.
Yeah, I think you noticed significant strides from Marcus Morris as your bench producer.
Love Marcus Morris.
I think when you're looking at this offensive explosion, he's playing with confidence now. I feel like he's finally gotten into the rotation. Like he knows what he's going to get per night. He knows his role, and it's score off the bench, and he thrives in that role.
Well, he said
he absolutely thrives in that role.
He said it. He's like, no one can guard me. None of them boys can guard me.
You know what? Fine. I love that attitude.
He's a beast right now.
I do. I love it.
I think he's becoming the better twin.
I love that.
Wait,
kind
who
of,
hated that trade?
Kind of
who hated that trade off the bat? Just a minute, guys. Come on. Who hated that trade?
I mean, we hated the
Both
trade.
did.
We hated the trade because of what they gave up. We didn't know what we were getting back.
I tried to tell you.
No, you tried to say defensively. You didn't say he was going to be like this.
All right, no, I'll
just saying.
I'll accept it. I'll eat crow.
Listen.
Serve it up. I'm with you, Sean. Because you know what? I thought that you could trade Avery Bradley in the regular season, but obviously the kind of regular season he's had this year, that would have been a huge mistake because his value would have dropped dramatically.
We could have got Blake Griffin if we just waited. Apparently.
Apparently, yeah, you're right.
I mean, you never know.
No, I think Tobias Harris had a little bit to do with that deal.
Nah, man. You know, you just give up. You give up Shemi and Avery Bradley would have been good.
Done deal, huh?
Yeah.
Done.
No, I think this.
Doc's like, yeah, I'll take it.
Chevy, is there an H in there?
Is it Semi? Which one is it?
Is he Jewish? All right, that's fine. Let's just bring him over.
Is he Jewish? What? Where did that come from?
Chevy. Like, his name is Sebi. I don't know what the Chevy came from.
Is that a Jewish
Yeah, he's Al Pacino
Al
and
Pacino
Casino. There you go.
Oh my God. Chevy Groovy. Wait, that wasn't even close. This episode's getting off the rails quickly, guys.
That's what that was 5 minutes.
That's what happens when you have
and we just had
a
a
quote unquote
butchered.
when you have a quote unquote like spring break, even though outside is nothing like spring right now. But
nothing.
yeah, we
That,
get back.
and of course, it's a weekend podcast.
It's a weekend podcast.
That doesn't help.
Welcome
All right.
to the weekend from Al Pacino.
All right, let's refocus. Let's refocus. Okay, so Marcus Morris,
Yes.
Marcus Smart,
The key.
Terry Rozier. I mean, this bench continues just to get stronger, continues to be more consistent.
And it's
Is
DNA.
it the break that's been doing it though?
It's
Is
DNA.
that the biggest reason why?
Hold
Do you
on,
think
hold
it's
on.
the break?
You forgot someone. My man Moose. He's been doing it the last 3-4 games.
Yes, yep.
All right.
He's coming along.
I'll give it to him.
I mean, he scored 2 points against the Timberwolves, but before that,
No, but before that.
okay, he had a good game against the Rockets. Yeah,
Hey, and against the Hornets, like, come on.
Okay. you know
Moose
what?
is coming along.
I'll give it to him.
The Moose is loose.
When Moose Gone Wild. You ever seen that? That's some of the most riveting television ever, actually. If you haven't seen that, just Google it. It's awesome.
All right, I'll give you that one. All right.
Moose are some of the biggest creatures you've ever seen. And they just go. Anyways, Greg Monroe is not. You don't give credit to Greg Monroe in this.
I just said the last few
It's
games.
the Marcuses and Rozier. And you know
Tice
what?
too.
It's
Tice as well.
It's Tice too,
Yeah.
because I was watching a game the other night, and against the Timberwolves in the fourth quarter, Kyrie was on the bench and Horford was on the bench, and they just kept running with that group of Rozier, Smart, Morris, Tice. And it was like the minutes kept getting down, and they didn't bring Kyrie back into the game until it was like
minute 5
minutes left in the game.
And then him
it
and
was
Al
still
went
about
off.
a
Him and Al went
9-8
off, yeah.
point swing.
Yeah.
And then they came back in and they scored, I think, probably what,
They combined for 15.
10 of the last.
They combined for 15. Kyrie had 8 out of that 15.
So Stevens is trusting his bench, which
Trusting
is
the
it's
bench,
a good sign.
which
you know,
is great.
Couple weeks left in the regular season. Yeah.
So
Hell
yeah, I think you're reaping the benefits of having a deeper team. And one of the things that I think is strange about this team is that the starters, minus Kyrie and Al Horford, basically I'm talking about Tatum and Brown, are so young that they're your starters, where your veterans are on your bench.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a different.
Even though Tice, he's considered a rookie. I
plays
get it, but
like a veteran.
he's a seasoned
he's
rookie.
25 years
20,
old.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
You know
been
what I mean?
playing
Like, you have a
professional since he
19
was
and a
15.
21-year-old
Yeah.
not coming off your bench. You're
Yeah,
not
that's
relying
true.
off them to come off your bench. Like
Yeah.
you have a veteran-laden bench led by Marcus Smart that's able to produce. And I think you're seeing the value of that. It's like, if you have a great game from Tatum and he's feeling it, you can leave him in there and be okay.
Which we saw Brad Stevens do against Minnesota.
Exactly.
Right? You had Tatum, and then you had the rest of the second unit along with him to sort of neutralize the floor and the point of attack, especially against a team that essentially doesn't have Jimmy Butler guarding the wing. So there's a benefit for Tatum to be in that lineup.
Oh, yeah.
And then also down low, you look at what's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Belicia?
Belicia.
He scored freaking 30 points
has
against
a
us.
career night.
Career night, man.
But when you look at a Celtics team that has
I like to call him the
so many
Croatian
guys,
Kelly Olynyk.
Took advantage. No, took full advantage that Jimmy Butler was out, so that's good.
something like that. But when you look at how many guys can score, over 6, 8, 9 points on the Celtics team, we're talking about 6, 7 guys, and they were able to do it that night. It's just too much offense for the Minnesota Timberwolves to counter. The Celtics need that kind of offense to beat top-notch teams. And I'm not saying Minnesota is one of those top-notch teams, but you're seeing that type of momentum that you want to see out of this group before they face teams like the back-to-back, well, not back-to-back, but the 2 games in 1 week against the Toronto Raptors that I can't wait to see what happens there. Yeah. Against the Washington Wizards that come to town next week. They have these 2 really tough teams, and a team in which, of course, the Toronto Raptors, I mean, they're not slowing down, guys. I mean, they just knocked off the Houston Rockets, snapped their winning streak rather, and all of a sudden it's like, which team is going to fold first, the Toronto Raptors or the Celtics, or are they on a collision course to face each other in this huge matchup that's going to ultimately decide the top of the Eastern Conference?
Well,
man. According to Charles, it's going to be Cleveland and Toronto.
Yeah,
Charles doesn't
not Washington anymore. Apparently,
he doesn't believe in the Celtics. He
No,
the Celtics can do it.
No,
get out of here.
No,
Charles Barkley. No, that's so weird because Charles Barkley always gives the Celtics the benefit of the doubt since like KG and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, man.
Around. Always.
Yeah, man.
not last year. Not last year.
Being sarcastic, dude.
Oh, okay.
Dude, when Paul Pierce,
not last year.
when Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett,
I see.
It's
We're on
always
this
it's
team.
always like they're
I
too
missed
old.
sarcasm.
Like when during those days they were too old, and now they're too young. That's
he
not
gave
visually.
the Hawks the benefit of the doubt in 08.
I understand the joke now.
He gave the Hawks the benefit of the doubt in 08 before Game 7. He said this team could knock out the Celtics.
Totally whiffed.
Said Cleveland, there's no chance they're going to get past Cleveland. And then when it came down to Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals, he was like, I'm going to take Detroit in 7 games. Like,
Reputation.
that's just the level of I will not give the Celtics any credit whatsoever that Charles Barkley's been on for over a decade now.
Let's talk about, though, the way the Celtics been playing offensively, like the fact that you just mentioned there's 5, 6, or 7 guys that are averaging double figures. Like, that's one of the first things we talked about during that 16-game winning streak early in the season, right? That the depth of this team is going to help, especially come playoff time, because other than Kyrie, we all know Kyrie is going to do what Kyrie does. But when you got guys like Terry Rozier coming in, scoring 14 points, grabbing 7 rebounds, Marcus Morris, he's been a beast lately. Like, that's like if everything goes according to plan in terms of like health wise, this team is going to be dangerous. It's going to be a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this recent post All-Star break success is the versatility of this team, right?
Yeah.
It used to be but the first half of the season, this was not a great offensive team. It was all on defense. If they didn't hold their team under 100 points, they may not beat that team. Right now, it seems like they flipped the switch, and Brad Stevens just said, "No, you guys can score too. So forget about defense. Let's score as many points as we can.
Let's turn up the intensity, especially in the fourth quarter." Yeah,
And you're seeing a completely different team that we saw right before the All-Star break.
Team.
Before the All-Star break, I mean, it's like they couldn't pick up a win. I mean, they got their asses handed to them by the Clippers. They got their asses handed to them by teams before that. And then you had Brad Stevens talking after the game saying like, we need everyone to contribute offensively. Like it's not enough. Then boom, 1 week later after the break, we see a completely different team.
I think we're getting into the point of Brad Stevens' career
defense, though, but
where he's the best coach in the NBA. The best coach in the NBA.
You can make a case for that. Yeah.
But no matter where the Celtics finish in the regular season, he won't get that credit though.
Yeah, you're probably right. But he is the best coach in the NBA. Look at this team.
But it's funny you say that. But what's not the knock? But what's the one thing that analysts say about Brad Stevens? The best young coach in the NBA, right? They always preface that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, he gets the best out of people. I mean, obviously we've seen Isaiah Thomas, we've seen Jay Crowder, we've seen Avery Bradley.
Look at Daniel Tice, man.
Yeah.
Guy's a rookie coming out of nowhere, and he can play solid minutes.
Fucking pickup.
Solid minutes for the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. That doesn't happen if you don't have a good coach.
Yeah, but I think after this season, you
Baines.
can't put him in that. You can't put him back in that sentence, though, right? No. I mean, that 5-year window is going to be done. That first 5 years of Brad Stevens coaching in the NBA, you can't call him a young coach anymore. You can call him almost a seasoned coach because of what he did with this franchise from developing a completely rebuilding phase and turning it into a legitimately a championship contending team without
Gordon Hayward,
their second best player in Gordon Hayward.
Yep. Their biggest free agent signing of all time.
You almost forget that he's on this team.
Let me ask you this though. Whether Gordon Hayward comes back or not this season, is there like a lot of pressure on him in terms of like the way this team has performed so far, and then you're like, oh, they're doing this good without Gordon Hayward, so imagine when he comes back.
Yes, if it happens this year, or if he comes back this year, it's like awesome. Great. It's a little gravy.
Yeah.
But then like next year starts the season with we were the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference, and we now are adding Gordon Hayward. It's the addition. It's their offseason signing. Dude.
Yeah, but you know what everyone's going to say, though? Oh, well, Jason Tatum's going to you're taking shots away from Tatum, taking shots away from Jaylen Brown.
If they say that, they're idiots.
Well, at the end of the day, though, what's going to happen when he has a slow start? Oh,
It's like-
well, they need to.
Listen, Baines doesn't need to
They need,
start.
they need to
It's
play.
like what Reggie.
Baines does not need to start.
It's like what our boy Reggie Miller said, that no one expected to see this production out of Tatum
Actually,
because of Gordon Hayward, right?
let's take a pause real quick to just say fuck Reggie Miller.
I know. We all don't like him. We know that.
Everyone can just agree to
Yeah.
fuck Reggie Miller, worst commentator in the world.
Agreed.
Sean was very upset, specifically
With Reggie Miller?
after
I was too.
what happened to Jaylen Brown in Minnesota.
Listen, I was freaking out because Jaylen Brown was on the ground after that awful hit, like off all of his top of his body. It was bad. That was bad.
It looked bad. Yeah.
Thank God it seems like he's gonna be all right. He's just concussed as fuck, but we can get over that eventually.
Yeah, he
at
tweeted
least-
out.
at least he can
He has a
walk.
really bad
Yeah.
headache, but he's okay. So that's
Yeah,
good.
so
It's really good.
he'll probably be out for I hope they hold him out for like 2 weeks.
He's in a concussion protocol.
Yeah,
Concussion
he's in
protocol,
concussion
which
protocol, yeah.
means sit in a dark room for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like Al Horford, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's okay because it didn't look good. He wasn't moving for so long.
No, that was the
3-4
scary part.
minutes. It was really scary because we're
Yo,
talking about
when
a potential life altering
And you've seen
injury.
You've seen it on the football field when like somebody gets into that literal fetal position where their arms are just out and they just go and just like I'll go up to the head and then the body like curls over. That happens when your body like freaks the fuck out. It just gets into that position of like that's the comfort position.
I thought when it first happened, before they showed the replay like 50 times afterwards. Great job, TNT.
And Kevin
When
Harlan,
when he clenched his fist and he like had his arm up, I thought shit, he landed on his arm other than his back and his neck, obviously. And when they
all right, Reggie Miller.
no, but when
Why
they
don't you say that
no, but I'm
50
saying, but when
times?
they showed the replay the first time, I was afraid to see like his arm twist, but it didn't. So I was like, okay, I think he was just more in shock of how he fell.
I think
He
the
was
worst part
fucked up.
I think
He
the
was
worst
fucked
the,
up.
The worst part was when Reggie Miller goes, listen to the
Yeah, I know,
sounds.
I know.
It's like no,
Let's play.
I
Let's
don't
play it
want
again,
to, Reggie.
and let's listen to. Yeah, it's like let's listen to how he falls, and it's like
Listen
why
to
would I
what
wanna-
could be his skull
Meanwhile,
hit the ground.
Reggie Miller is listen to the sound. Yeah.
He's like
that was it.
he's like once again, guys, once again.
And Kevin
Like,
Harlan.
Kevin Harlan, I love Kevin Harlan, but Kevin
No,
Harlan
why
and
did
Reggie
he-
Miller
now-
shouldn't be commentating Celtics games going forward ever again.
Was Kevin Harlan the Gordon Hayward guy too?
Yeah, they were
Okay,
both
you know
of
what?
them.
I
That's
love.
why
you know
I
what?
said both of
You
them
know what?
should
Then fuck Kevin Harlan.
I
because-
love Kevin Harlan,
No, you
but-
know what? I used to love Kevin Harlan, but remember when Gordon Hayward went down? He goes, what did he say? He goes,
Oh, he's broken his leg.
broken his leg
Yeah, he's broken his leg.
immediately, and it's like, whoa, didn't see that coming. And then last night he goes, and he's concussed right off the bat. And I was like, whoa, how do you know that? How do you know that? And you just
but you know what that is, right, Sean? That's that classic. If it's as bad as it is, you'll be hearing me say this.
Yes.
Call this every single time they show this play, which is a little selfish on his part, but at the
And-
same time, he
That's
just gets into it.
That's what
you know?
commentators do. It's
Yeah,
like
they get way
it's
too-
like when
way too into it.
Remember the grand slam by Big Papi and against the Tigers in the ALCS
What
Yeah.
about it?
when the dude
when
he
he hit
tied
it.
the game up and then
This game is tied.
instead
This
of-
game is tied.
Instead of being concerned with fucking who was the one that flipped over?
Oh, Torrey Hunter.
With
Torrey
Torrey
Hunter,
Hunter,
yeah.
like see if he was all right. He was just like, this game is tied. This
Listen.
game is tied.
and then no, the best part
The
is
cop had him.
Yeah,
the best part.
yeah,
is,
right. The cop put his hand up like, ah!
The best part is
Fuck
Joe.
that cop, by the way.
The best part is Joe Castiglione. And I think Torrey Hunter is hurt.
And I think Hunter might be hurt.
Could
You just see the crowd going nuts, and then like the cop.
David Ortiz.
The cop still has his hands up.
David
Like,
Ortiz.
David Ortiz. 3 times.
think Torrey Hunter is bleeding from his head.
I
Reggie
think-
Miller comes in, and his neck, and his back.
Broken.
Listen to the sound again.
I think Torrey Hunter is deceased. It's like what? Come on, guys, really?
Torrey Hunter, and it looks like Torrey Hunter impaled his head through the bullpen spike.
While the cop still has his hands up, like yeah, grand slam.
Well, actually, okay, let's pull it back. The injury was horrific. Thank God.
It was horrific. Yeah.
Thank God Jaylen Brown's okay,
Right.
and fuck TNT and Reggie Miller and all that.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Any
But
early
that
predictions?
minute-
Who
but that-
takes his place in the starting lineup, guys? You guys want to do that? No.
Mookie Morris.
Mookie's gonna take.
Yes.
I was actually gonna say your boy, Smart. Actually,
I think it's Morris.
Okay, cool.
Well, I think
the other Marcus. All right.
Yeah, I think it's Morris because
Oh, I thought you were trying to talk. Never mind. I thought you were trying to make a joke with the Red Sox. You said Mookie. I was like, what are you talking about?
Mook Morris. That's what they call him. That's a nickname for Marcus Morris.
It is. It's like it's one of his handles.
Mook.
Yeah. Go to his Instagram, man. It's like Mook.
No,
It's not Mookie. It's Mook.
Mook.
All right.
But I call it the Mookie.
No, man. You keep Morris off the bench because you know what's gonna happen when he's gonna get too comfortable, and then when he has to go back to the bench, he's just gonna
his head's gonna get too big. Like,
Yeah, you're probably right.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
Smart knows, like, I'm here just because, I'm here. But you know what? Smart brings the Celtics DNA.
What about Larkin, guys? Larkin, he had a great start when
Why don't you settle down over there, right? Don't bring up Larkin as I'm trying to get on my soapbox to preach about Marcus Smart, all right?
I'm the one that says he's going to start. You're the one that's just like, oh, it's Mook.
Marcus Smart is the Celtics DNA, okay?
I was kidding,
I'm
by
just
the way,
going to say
guys
that.
out there who's going to, kill me in the YouTube comments.
He's the Celtics
Why
DNA.
would you say Shane Larkin?
He is. And you can't deny it.
So we're gonna go.
I'm sorry. Repeat that again.
You're gonna go completely small here. You're talking about Smart where at the 2?
What?
You say Smart?
Smart is the Celtics DNA.
So you can put him in the starting lineup for?
I don't care if he's in the starting lineup.
No, he still says Marcus Morris.
He's still the most
You're still going
valuable
with
player
Morris.
on this
Okay,
team.
gotcha.
He's the most valuable player on this team.
Who do you say?
If he's the most valuable player on this team?
No, who's starting?
No, I think it's Smart, but not because I think he's the most valuable player on this team. I just think because then you get Terry Rozier gets more minutes off the bench, so it becomes Terry Rozier and Marcus Morris.
Yeah,
So
I think
the 1-2 punch.
Rozier could probably even fight for that starting role.
You took my spot, man. I love the Rozier Kyrie Irving combo. I would love to see Rozier.
I'm cool with
I mean, you can see that at the end of the game.
Instant
because
offense.
We've been seeing
Instant offense.
I think it's going to be situational. I think it's going to be situational against who they're playing.
No, but
I really do.
But lately, at the end of the games, we've been seeing Kyrie, Rozier, and Smart.
Exactly. Brad's team has already been experimenting with it.
But that's why I think Rozier is better suited coming off the bench because he takes Marcus Smart's role.
Jaylen doesn't always close games.
No, I understand that, but if Jaylen Brown is not, because I gotta think at the end of the day, Jaylen Brown for the most part will defend the best player on the other team. So if you take him out of the mix,
he's not even a good defender.
I think you go with.
He's better than you give him credit for.
I think you go with instant offense in the backcourt, and then you got Jason Tatum in that spot to defend, and of course, you got the guys down low and Horford and Aaron Baines, but Tatum would have to step up and defend the wing.
You lose a little size though, so I think
you lose a little size, but that offense and that speed, like the way this offense,
I don't think
has
you
been
can
going,
do that against Indiana.
But I think the way this offense has been so hot lately, you want to keep that going, and I think the best way to do that is you put Rozier in that lineup.
Well, actually,
maybe against Indiana you probably could because Bogdanovich is whatever, right?
Yeah, but you could start Morris against Indiana.
No, I'm talking about Rozier.
Not bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think you could go either way. I mean, Smart. You've seen Smart, guard like 3s and 4s.
Yeah, I think if you wanna really see what you got in Rozier, you give him another shot at the starting lineup with Kyrie starting. Like that's the big thing. Is like Rozier did all his damage this year, like his big games as a starter without Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, but he's still putting up great numbers.
Sure, but I just think
he's playing more at the end of the game. That's what I'm saying.
You're going to be coming to a decision very quickly about Terry Rozier. I think right now you still got a year.
What's the decision?
But you already have to decide Marcus Smart's going to be on this team, and you're probably going to try to sign him for under $10 million. Right?
Not every one team comes down and gives them like 12, 13, which there's teams out there that could.
They could.
Doesn't mean the Celtics have to match it.
They don't. Mm-hmm. You're right. But I think
I see what you're saying. If Marcus Smart gets signed, it's the beginning of the end for Rozier.
No, I mean, is it the beginning of the end? Or can he show that, like, hey, maybe it's worth...
He's going to get a similar deal to Marcus Smart.
No, he'll get more than Marcus Smart, I think. Other teams will look at him and say, I value him more than because he can score. Like he'll get a bigger deal than Marcus Smart probably. But Marcus Smart is only good is on teams that are going to be competing. Like you don't want Terry Rozier is like the perfect player for. I don't know, the Orlando Magic to go out and sign and say, hey, you're the face of the franchise for the next 4 years.
I get what you're saying.
Score 20 points a night and then we're going to lose every game.
I know. I see what you're saying, but what if you're Marcus Smart? Put yourself in his position. Celtics offer you 8 or 9, 10. Let's just for the sake of argument, 10. And another team is like, hey, we got you like 12, 13, 14.
Okay. Here's I guess how you say it. Same price. You got to pick one. Smart or Rozier.
I mean, I think we've had this conversation. I think Rozier has a higher ceiling.
Well, now that
Because
we're
you can
now,
see- you
but
can see
now that you've seen the way the season has gone, we had this conversation at the beginning of the year.
Marcus Smart.
I'm still saying Rozier because of the effect Kyrie has had on Rozier, and so they play together long term.
I'm still on Marcus Smart. But
Obviously,
you've changed your
We know
tune.
that.
It's close, but I think that scoring that you get out of Rozier, you're going to see out of guys like, heck, Hayward, for example. Tatum's going to continue to develop. Jaylen Brown is going to continue to develop. Whereas Terry Rozier, I mean, he could get a little better, but for the most part, I think you would take that lockdown defense from Marcus Smart, that aspect of his game, you will take over Rozier. If you're talking about in that same scenario, of course. Same price, you have to pick one. I think Smart gets the edge because of he's carved out such a role that no one can really duplicate or match for that price in this hypothetical situation, I guess.
Thank you.
All right, I still think Rozier is a better.
But yeah,
he's a better scorer and a rebounder.
Crazy. I don't think anyone's crazy if they say Rozier over Smart.
I never thought it was
close.
And I don't think it's close, but
You don't think it's even close?
no, I don't think the contracts are going to be far apart, but I don't think it's close. Like for this team, for Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics, it's Marcus Smart.
For this team, yeah.
It's
that's
Marcus
a great way to
Smart.
put it, yeah.
They're
At
nothing.
the end of the
without
day, Rozier could most likely be a better player.
In-
But
he'll
for
be a
this
better.
team, for this team, I think Marcus Smart's better.
Smart's not gonna get any better than what he is, and I love Smart for what he does.
I agree.
You know, defensively, obviously, I'll never knock him for his knack for defense, but he's not gonna become a better shooter. Rozier has proven that in year 3.
Yeah, but I don't think you're not in the position you're not in the position to groom Terry Rozier to be like your next guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not that he's gonna be your
Unless
next
Kyrie's
guy.
not re-signing.
Well, Rozier's destined to be a star in this league.
Yeah.
You can't say that about Smart.
Yeah, Smart. You put him in as a starter in the position that they put Rozier in. Does Smart react the same way? I don't think so.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right. But I mean, I think if you're trying to win a championship with the team that you have put in front of you, with Gordon Hayward, with Kyrie Irving, with Al Horford, with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown, it's Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart fits that lineup better.
Not if another team wants to give him a shitload of money.
We shall see.
All right, let's look ahead on the schedule here. Sean Dutra's.
When you look ahead.
All right, Sean. It's been a while. Got a light schedule though. But why do I get the feeling you're going to say this? I was going to go 2-0. Well, let's see you explain why you think that.
Oh, I can't go against my boy Oladipo.
Oh, that is your boy.
Oladipo.
Did you have him top 10 on the list? No, you had him top 15, right?
Top 15 over John Wall. But Oladipo and the Pacers. Another one of my boys, Miles Turner, come into the Garden on Sunday. 7:30 start. Why are they starting at 7:30 on Sunday?
I have no idea. I'm not happy about it either.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Football's not on.
There's no college basketball either.
Selection Sundays at 6? There is college basketball.
I thought it was earlier in the day.
There is college basketball on all day. Probably what it is.
That's what it is.
Anyways, Pacers coming. So Celtics have a nice 2-game homestand right now. Pacers, Wizards. You gotta make up for the fact that you shat all over your pants during that 4-game streak when you had Pacers, Raptors, Wizards,
Shitting on your pants.
Cavs. You can't.
Well, they beat the Pacers and the Wizards.
But you shat on your pants.
You shat in your pants.
Yo, don't sleep on Indiana. I mean, obviously, we saw what happened the last time these two teams
Indiana's the
faced
one.
each other. But they've been hot this past since the All-Star break.
So Indiana's the one team that I don't want to see in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, could you imagine that?
And then Orlando on Friday, right?
Orlando on Friday, but who cares about that? I'm just saying, right now, if the season ended today,
there's like a 4-way tie in the East right now.
Yeah.
So there'll be like one playoff
there's
for like 5 days straight, just
the
one playoff.
tiebreakers, former All-Stars on team. That's what it's going down to. How many former All-Stars you had in 1994? They're all tied up until 1994, where like the Bucks are like, we had Glenn Robinson this year. And Sam Cassell. And
The Heat are like, we got Glenn
Vin Baker.
Rice. We'll get Glenn Rice to come back and shoot us back into the playoffs.
yeah, I mean, literally every day it changes, but the Celtics could be playing the Pacers,
The Bucks.
the Bucks,
The Heat.
or the Heat.
Or even the Pistons.
Give me the goddamn Heat any day of the week. And also, too, I'm just going to say this. I don't want the number 2 seed. You know what happens if you're the number 2 seed? You got to play Cleveland in the second round. I don't want that. They need to catch the Raptors. The number one conference.
But wouldn't it be better to knock off? Try to knock off the Cavaliers.
No,
as vulnerable as they are right now. I thought you're not even worried about the Cavaliers.
No, I'm not worried about the Cavaliers.
But you only want to face them in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Thank you. Yes, I don't want to have to face them earlier than I need to. I would much rather.
You think that extra week and a half is going to really do some damage for LeBron James?
Guess what? Kevin Love won't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, he'll get injured or have a cry, write a letter about how he cries all the time.
Oh man, it's messed up.
Jeez.
I know. I just feel like at the end of the day, would you rather go through? So here's why I'm saying this. Would you rather go through the Cavs and the Raptors?
Well, for those that believe,
no, listen, wait.
No, but for those that believe that,
but it doesn't matter.
Beat Cleveland. Why does it matter when you play them?
It does, because you don't have to play Cleveland. If you're the number 1 seed, you have to play either Cleveland or Toronto. They will play each other. Wait, you don't have to play both. Why do you want to play both?
No, I just want you to admit that you're worried about Cleveland, because you said that Cleveland wouldn't even get past the first round after the trade, and now you're saying you don't want to see them until the third round.
All right, if you,
I don't care really what happens in terms of like.
No, you're short-sighted.
No, because if the Celtics are considered the top team in the East, they have to go through one of those two teams, if not both. Fuck it.
That's what I'm trying to say. One of those two teams, yes. Why would you choose to go through both? If you could then go through like,
I mean, you're not choosing to. It just
if it's the Wizards and Raptors or Wizards and Cavs, and you don't have to face one of the top 3 teams in the East. Thank you. I want the number 1 seed.
But you just said earlier in the episode that the Celtics are going to have the second best record in the East.
I don't think I said that.
You did.
When?
You did. We were talking about Brad Stevens. You were like, oh, the Celtics, they're going to finish with the second best record in the East, and he should get all this credit, especially with all the players he's had, these young guys. So it's like you accepting them going to be the second best team in the East. You weren't worried about Cleveland. The whole season you haven't been worried about Cleveland, but now you only want to see them in the Eastern Conference Final. And I don't know. I feel like you're worried about Cleveland, but you don't want to admit it.
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, Cleveland's got LeBron, right?
Yeah.
If you can avoid LeBron, it's a good thing. If you want to if you get to the precipice of the Eastern Conference Finals and LeBron's waiting for you there, I think the Celtics can win 10 out of 10 times this year. But the last thing I want is the Celtics to beat LeBron and the Cavs, which, by the way, they haven't fucking done since LeBron has been back on the Cavs. And since fucking 2000 and fucking whatever. What? 10?
2010.
It's been 8 years since they beat LeBron. So it's not like we have beaten LeBron recently, right? So I'm just saying, I think we can beat LeBron.
You're concerned.
We can beat LeBron, but then I don't want to beat LeBron and then not get to the finals. Beat LeBron and then be like, oh, now we have to play the number 1 fucking team in the Eastern Conference. Get the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed is very, very, very important to then play the ghost. John Wall will be back for the Wizards, and they'll suck. Or you'll play the Heat, or you'll play whoever the fuck comes out of that fucking 4 versus 5 series, right? I would much rather play that heaping pile of fucking Eastern Conference garbage than play the Cavs and then the Raptors. I think you see what I'm fucking saying.
No, I see what you're saying. I just want you to admit that you're concerned about Cleveland.
I'm not concerned about Cleveland. I just don't want to finally beat the Cavs and then end up in the Eastern Conference Finals and lose to the Raptors. I don't want that to happen.
All right.
If there's one season that the Celtics could surprise the world, because that's what they're gonna say, and beat Cleveland, it's this year. So why does it matter if they play them a week and a half earlier than they would, in second round versus the third round?
Because wouldn't you rather beat Cleveland and go to the NBA Finals?
As long as they get there, who the fuck cares who they beat?
Well, no, I think you're saying you see them avoid the Raptors instead of playing both of them.
Avoid both. That's
because honestly, out of the two, it's almost like a coin flip. I mean, they're both going to be tough as Celtics. Let's face it.
Toronto, if you could just play one,
focused.
I'll take one instead of playing both.
I mean, if the Celtics are considered this team that can make it to the finals, they're gonna have to play them, one of them or both, and just deal with it. That's it. That's it. That's what it is. That's what it boils down to.
No.
Raptors,
What the fuck are you saying? Just get the number 1 seed, and you don't have to do that.
listen, whether they get the number 1 seed or not, they're gonna see one or the other.
Yeah, but you're not gonna. You know,
But you don't have to play both, man. I don't know what the fuck. Like,
But if
are
they
you
get, all right,
blind?
listen,
I don't
if
know
they
what the
get
fuck
number
you're looking
one,
at right
listen,
now.
If they get the number 1 seed and Cleveland stays in third, they're gonna see Cleveland in the second round.
Yeah, but they don't have to see Toronto.
No, they won't see them. If they get the number 1 seed,
Mm-hmm.
they'll play whoever wins 4 versus 5. If you get the number 2 seed, then you have to play fucking LeBron. I don't want to play LeBron and then have to win. Oh, you finally beat LeBron. Now you have to play the number 1 seed in Toronto.
And
Why
Toronto's
would you
gonna
want?
smell blood. They're gonna be like, oh,
They're gonna be like,
finally.
yo, you went to 7 against
yo,
LeBron.
We went through the East without having to face the Cavs.
Are you kidding me? They'll be like, what? We only have to be Boston. LeBron. We don't have to play LeBron this year. Everyone is looking at the Eastern Conference the same way the Celtics are, especially Toronto.
They smell blood. Everyone
No
smells blood.
one wants to play LeBron because they feel like, yes, he can be beat this year, but you don't want to be the one that does it. Well, you don't want to have to go through that and then ruin the rest of your finals chances.
All right, so what? 2-0.
Well, 3-0.
Oh, yeah. Who are they even playing?
Well-
Toronto and Cleveland? 2-0.
We'll just throw Orlando
I'm
in
just
there.
kidding.
I guess 3-0.
3-0. 3-0. Yes, 3-0. It's not nothing new.
I don't know. I think they're gonna drop one against one of those teams.
Well,
The Wizards or the Pacers. One of those.
if Terry Rozier gets traded to the Orlando Magic and he signs a long-term deal there, then
Which is
remember how I
Strong
always thought
possibility.
James Young was going to be a Knick? I feel like Terry Rozier is going to be a Magic.
Joel
Going to be
undefeated this week or what?
No, they'll lose like the Magic. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, it's
You know.
it's really how I'm just looking at how they're going to play against the Pacers and the Wizards.
I mean, no one's really talking about this because the Celtics have been doing so well pretty much since the All-Star break. But why is it that Kyrie Irving has to every month has to take like 2 or 3 games off to ice his fucking knee, and it's always against like a sub 500 team that he takes the time off.
It's just Brad.
And then comes back against the
and then it
Minnesota
comes back.
Timberwolves.
Yeah,
I think it's just Brad Stevens.
I don't think it's just Brad. I think it's him as well because I think he will never forget missing out in the very first NBA Final series. Like that tore him apart because in his mind he's like, we could have won that series. If I
Well,
played.
also too. I mean,
So he's looking at the long roll. I mean,
rely
they both
heavily
are.
on Kyrie.
Him and Brad Stevens, they're convinced. They're not going to say it, but they're convinced that this team can win a championship.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
that's
that's a legitimate like plan, and in their mind, they're going to execute, precisely and make sure that he is as close to 100%, come June.
which is fine. That's great if that's they're looking at the overall big picture. But I think there's some truth to a report earlier in the year that he still needs a minor procedure done on that knee that was surgically repaired a couple years ago. And so then the answer so far this year is, let's shut him down every couple months for 2 or 3 games, and then he's back. And
who else needed
no
a
one
minor
thinks about
procedure?
that. Who?
Isaiah.
Well, he never got that minor procedure. He went the rehabilitation route.
He didn't. You having a Joel conspiracy theory over there?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't think the Celtics are going to fire their training staff again if Kyrie ends up needing a minor procedure or not during the offseason.
Kyrie's fine. I think it's just.
I mean,
precaution.
you're playing into June in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He played the Olympics after Cleveland won in 2016.
And LeBron never gave him any off days. He's like, you're the number 2, bitch. You better play. No rest days for you. I'm resting, motherfucker.
LeBron just dropped 26 in the third quarter. That's what you're supposed to do, motherfucker.
When I'm sitting, you drop points. That's it.
What you mean you're leaving?
Now go get me a milkshake.
And that's Sean Dutra's.
When you look ahead.
All right, with that, Sean gives you looking ahead. Let's wrap things up. We wrap up every single episode here at the Causeway Street Podcast. We take a trip around the NBA with Joel's In Case You Missed It. Joel,
Bada bing, bada boom.
what do you got?
In case you missed it.
In case you missed it, we all remember Steve Francis, don't we?
Yes.
I love Stevie
Franchise.
Well, he's the latest to write an article in the Players Tribune.
It's the latest victim to meth.
No, actually. Contrary to popular belief, Francis was never on drugs.
That's a blatant fucking lie.
Listen,
Are you kidding me?
Listen. According to the article, which I read, he was selling crack at 18, but ended up in the NBA by age 22.
Okay, good old days, yep.
Right? And he says...
4-year plan.
Says that he never, ever has done crack in his life.
That is false.
He didn't say any other drugs. He just mentioned crack.
No, that's
in particular.
false. That's false. He's done crack multiple times.
How do you know it's crack?
Every fucking day of his life.
No, I'm with you that there's some form of narcotic that he could have experiment with.
Okay.
To look the way he looks now.
But
but
alcohol, though.
Maybe it's not crack. Or it could just be a lot of alcohol.
Yes.
You know,
it has
that's
nothing
what he
to
said.
do with alcohol.
Alcohol, on the other hand, has been an
know.
issue with him, especially over the last decade.
We've seen ex-NBA players like him who turned to the sauce for quite some time. And they
Barbecue?
look
crack
much
sauce.
older than they're supposed to.
Listen,
However,
Stevie
Francis was doing something
does
else.
crack
He was doing something
cocaine.
else. I got you. He's doing something
Okay,
else.
he does some type of drug that is very addictive and probably deforms your face. It's either meth, it's either crack, it's either I don't know. I don't know what other drug. I don't know. Maybe he loves Advil. I don't know.
I was gonna say painkillers.
Look,
Yeah,
look,
maybe he just
Look.
pops 47 OxyContin in the morning. I don't
The
know.
man grew up in D.C.
That would kill him for
during
that.
the crack epidemic, so he's seen firsthand what crack can do to you.
He literally looks like everybody from The Wire. Okay, he looks like motherfucking Amsterdam resident from the fucking Wire. Okay, he does hard drugs. Stop telling. You know what you don't look like?
Stick with that though. Don't say crack.
It's crack.
Make it sound like crack's the only one that can make someone look like that.
Listen.
That's not the only drug that can make someone look
Listen.
like that.
Walk by Stevie Francis
Okay, let me see where he's at.
and
Yeah.
Let
just
me make a
go.
trip to Houston real
He's in
quick.
Houston,
And
yeah.
just
Let's go to
go
Houston.
and just go.
It's not
Yo, I
easy.
got the red caps 2 for 5, 2
Not
for
a-
5,
it's not
and
a
see
easy-
what he does.
it's not an
His
easy
head's gonna
place.
turn on a fucking swivel. All right.
It's not an easy place to navigate in Houston, so I don't know if we were
Listen,
able to find
Stevie
that's it.
Francis. Guess what? You
Not
know
for
what?
nothing, man. It was a great article though. I don't know if you read it.
You know
but
what?
it was
You know
good.
what?
He won't read it. He's on the.
I think
He will eventually, but maybe not tomorrow.
I think
He won't jump to it.
Stevie Francis finally realized, wait, I can write anything that I want, and I can just write it, and people may believe it. So yeah, I've never done crap.
But why the
rocks in
fuck
my
would he
life.
wait 10 years to do that? He's been out of the league since 07, 08, whatever.
He just probably discovered the internet like 4
I like
days ago.
what Joel says. It's true. He just said crack. Like if
Yeah.
if you're adamant about anti-drugs, like if you're like, oh, I don't do anything, you're gonna say I haven't done crack. I've never touched any kind of drug. All he said in the article was, I've never done crack.
Yeah, because
You know what?
and more because he probably got like, he had these awful flashbacks of people like just laid out on the streets because they've done crack. He sold crack. He used to sell crack.
But you know one thing about the
he's
article?
like, I won't touch crack.
Did you notice one thing about the article in the beginning, right? Like it seemed like every few lines he would talk about like, oh,
And then
he
he skipped something else.
well, no, not that, but he was talking about like the story when he talked about how Sam Cassell took him out all night. He kept saying all night we hung out and I didn't have a sip of alcohol. And then another part of the article, he's like, oh, I did this and that. I used to stay up all night. Frustrated when he got traded from the when he got traded to Orlando, and I didn't have a sip of alcohol. It was almost as if like he was just trying to show you how like looking back in retrospect, he was so surprised that he didn't turn to alcohol
Sooner.
sooner. And then once he realized his basketball career
went
was
to
pretty
China
much
and shit,
over
yeah.
in his early 30s, he just went straight downhill, which is
The booze.
boozing all day. But at the same time, though,
The Henny, man, we'll get to you.
when you talk about how he said that he was such a heavy alcohol drinker, but he never gave us like how many doses. Like how bad are we talking here?
Yeah.
So that sort of
Yeah,
leads me
okay,
to
you know
believe you
what?
turn to something else. Maybe you had something else on
he
the
looks-
side.
he looks
that
like
you
20
don't
years
want
old.
to. You don't want to reveal.
What was that fucking show about?
He looks 20 years older than he should.
At least
What was that show? Intervention.
on A&E.
I seen a lot of people who were alcoholics that drank like woke up and just
all day, every day.
walked around with
Well, I mean-
the handle of vodka in the morning.
Alcohol does different
They
things
look-
to different people.
They look better than Stevie Francis, okay?
But Stevie doesn't have the skeleton look to him.
No,
Yeah.
Stevie's got the puffy ass face. Yes, I'm not debating the fact.
I don't
that
know.
he
You seem pretty
abuses-
adamant about the crack.
that
Yeah,
he
seriously.
No. I'm not debating the fact
They were
that
like,
he,
nothing else but crack.
No,
Not
no,
even
no.
weed.
No,
Just
no.
crack.
No. I'm
his,
not
his
debating
lips
the fact that he
have been
does-
burnt on crack pipes.
that
That's
he
what you're
drinks
saying.
excessive amounts of alcohol. But it's also he does excessive amounts of a hard drug, probably crack cocaine. Okay?
If you had to guess.
If I had to guess, I would guess probably crack cocaine because his teeth are still intact. I'm rooting against meth. I don't think even Stevie Francis wouldn't go down the meth pipe.
He doesn't have the Bob Ryan's.
He doesn't have
Pearly
the Bob
whites.
Ryan teeth. Bob Ryan. Now, if you told me Bob Ryan did some type of hard drug like crack and meth, probably a mixture,
Shout out to you, Nick. What's good?
I would say, you know what? I saw that one coming. But Stevie Francis, damn.
I just hope Stevie Francis, because it's such a good story about obviously how he's able to turn his life around and all that good stuff. You know, the coming of age story.
Oh, is
but
life
I just
turned
hope.
around now?
No, before.
bro.
We're talking about before.
Yeah, read the article.
He didn't.
Read the article.
He didn't
I'm not gonna
graduate.
read lies.
He didn't graduate from high school, so he got a GED. Went to junior college, and then Maryland picked him up. I mean, he came into the league at 22. What players come into the league at 22 these
This
years?
dude was selling rocks,
from
went to a
college.
junior college, went to Maryland, and then went to the NBA.
Wanted to go to Georgetown,
It's a crazy
but like
story.
you know, John Thompson was like, "Dude, I just had Allen Iverson and his fucking posse come through here. I can't have you and your people's coming through here too." So
And Marin was like, hey, we just had Len Bias die, but it's been about 10 years. So come on.
I don't know if they said that, but yeah,
Him and his drug-ass problems. Come on,
Would
man.
have skipped it.
I'm just thinking like, I don't know. That type of shit pisses me off. You're like,
Oh, people growing up poor without their mother and father, that pisses you off?
no.
No, he's talking
what
about-
the fuck? Why would you get that?
He's talking about
You made it. You made
That's your
it.
question, yeah.
drug use.
You fucking made it. You are
Okay.
drafted by the Grizzlies. You didn't want to play for the Grizzlies, so you forced a fucking trade. They said, okay. You fucking made an NBA franchise trade your ass to wherever the fuck you wanted to go. You went to
Okay.
where you wanted to go.
All right, so
and
then-
then you have a successful fucking career. You are one of the most up-and-coming stars, and then you're just like, you know what, though? I'm going to get fucked up.
See, you're assuming that he was on crack, quote unquote, during his NBA career. I mean, whether he was on drugs or anything else, it happened after he left the NBA.
All I'm saying is that even if it is just alcohol, he went from like
But this happened.
he went from it was, and if you guys remember this, he went from super explosive athletic Stevie Francis to spot up 3-point shooter Stevie Francis.
Yeah, because he
in
played
the
for
blink of a goddamn
he played
eye.
for a shitty Orlando and New York team.
I don't think that Orlando team was that shitty, but
And in 2004, they were pretty shitty.
All right, what else we miss?
Well, in case you missed it, the Celtics officially will not put in a bid for the 2022 NBA All-Star Game.
what? That's
Are you serious?
Check it out. They said nope.
They pulled out, huh?
Like,
So the last time the Celtics or Boston has hosted NBA All-Star Weekend was 1964. So don't expect Boston to host any All-Star Weekend
Ugh.
anytime soon.
you think Stevie Francis pulls out?
I don't know how many kids he has, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't know about his pullout game.
I
Yeah,
guess
me
he
either.
probably doesn't have to with all that crack cocaine running through his veins.
Something else, man. Something that's not crack.
All right.
I don't know.
Good.
So I can't put my finger on it, but
Yeah, it's maybe
I don't
some,
judge people like that.
maybe some
but
super space
something
drug.
else.
Maybe it's Advil.
I just hope he's gonna be all right, because you know that's. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he does for work. He didn't
Scissor.
say anything, but
Well, in case you missed it, the Rockets have surpassed the Celtics for the most wins consecutively this season at 17.
led by MVP James Harden.
True that.
Yeah,
And so,
This is his year.
the Rockets got their streak snapped by the Raptors. Sway had mentioned that earlier in the episode. This is their second longest win streak in their franchise history. Back in 2007.
and the Raptors did it. I'm telling you, man, this team is for real.
Back in 2000.
Toronto's not playing.
Back in 2007, they won 22 straight games. So
Guess who broke the streak that year? Yeah. Boston, dude. Boston's always breaking all the records, bro.
they fucking swept the triangle
Yeah,
that year.
dude, we go
They
down
swept
there
the
with the
Texas Triangle.
triangle.
You guys are weird.
Dorchester kid.
let's go on a donkey run,
Oh,
kid.
dude, let's do it.
Guys sound like the most two obnoxious Bostonians.
Hey,
don't ever want to hang out with.
Hey, fuck you, all right?
Hey, fuck you and your mother, motherfucker.
Hey, man, that's my mother too, bro.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, I'll buy donkeys today, all right?
Hey, when we go to the Packy,
Let's go to the Packy. I'll buy you a nipper, fucking.
Wild turkey.
We can't go to Quincy though. It's a fucking river over there.
Oh no, man! They're still without power. Fucking National Grid's just over there gershing off in the corner. Fucking thinking about their mother. Fucking Eversource is owning their ass.
That's such a Boston thing. Like personify a company. It's like, yeah, dude, this guy's over here bleeding off, not doing his job. It's like, dude, that's a company, man.
That's a company.
Not a person.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm without power. My Yankee
They
Candle.
got their fucking thumbs out their asses.
My house smells like apples mixed with hot cocoa because we got Yankee candles blowing in the wind over here. All right?
Because National Grid is a fucking bastard.
Because National Grid decided they wanted to sit on their ass all day and fucking twiddle their fucking thumbs. While I'm sitting over here freezing.
I just picture like a butt going in and out of your mouth, just like a cigarette, just going in and out. On the side of your mouth, just going on.
And now I gotta burn these fucking candles that say fucking Yankee on them. What the
Ashes,
fuck?
ashes just in the wind, just fucking flapping up and down.
Just powers out. It's like, listen, National Grid, I'm only down to 4 butts. No one can take my EBT card without power.
All right, what else you got?
Well, that's it.
That's
I can't top
you
that.
Can't top. Yeah, we're done.
Just in case you missed it, it's brought to you
man.
by the CLNS YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that bad boy where you can see the best in audio, video, sports coverage online. You can also listen to us, the Causeway Street Podcast, on there. And that is it for...
In case you missed it.
Also, if you haven't already, I don't know what you're waiting for, but get on iTunes and give us a rating. Subscribe. Come on, show us some love because we're trying to
Fucking subscribe, dude.
we're trying to do what every other podcast trying to do.
Stop
and just,
sitting on
get
your
some more
ass.
subscribers. Yeah,
While you
Twiddling
waiting
your
for the
thumbs.
fucking power to come back on, you go into the fucking
Yeah,
iTunes.
exactly.
And
All
listen to
right.
the Causeway Street Podcast.
This weekend edition of the Causeway Street Podcast. It's up out of here. This is going
Barry
on. It's going way
Burbank
too
said
long. You
there's
guys
going
are
to be a
nuts.
storm.
Oh, stay safe, by the way. There's another one coming. Was it Monday?
yeah.
I'm hearing.
See?
Oh, fuck, dude.
Monday.
Seen tits. Gotta go to the store and pack up on the Newports.
But
kid.
fucking how, dude? I've got a fucking canoe.
Yo, I got an
You guys see
idea.
the forecast, kid? See the
I thought
forecast,
I thought a
kid?
fucking 10-day forecast, dude. My phone is running on one bar.
Now y'all got me doing it. Get out of here.
All right.
No, bro, real quick though. Peep our top 25 list on CausewayStreetBlog.com.
Yes, people love that.
Zach
list, by the way.
Peliquin,
Fucking haters.
he's got his list up there and his breakdown of why he chose the players that he chose.
Oh,
so
fuck Zach, dude.
fucking that fucking Zach Pelly.
That fucking
Not
kid,
even
dude.
kick it with us,
That
kid.
Pelly dude. That fucking Pelly. What the fuck,
Yeah,
dude?
get Pelly on.
He lives in East Bumfuck now.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
get.
Moved out to East Bumfuck with his mother.
What zip code is that
I'm
again?
done. I'm done. Yeah, it's called fuckyourmother.com.
I said zip, not page. What the fuck are you talking about? On
Yeah,
that note,
check that out, Pelly. Get on here soon, man. We miss you, bro.
If I can follow us on Twitter.
I'm sure playoff time he'll check in like he usually does.
All right, bye.
on that note, peace.
Dorchester kid.
Hey, fuck you, all right?
Hey, fuck you and your mother.